Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying our NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Now, this week's edition of the Nipoa Banner and Press is dated Friday, March 18th, 2022. Although I am reading today on St. Patrick's Day. So St. Patrick's Day to everyone, hence the green shirt. Hopefully you are wearing green shirts on St. Patrick's Day. The front page news is wonderful to hear. Planning underway for 2022 Nipoa Chamber Fair by Casper Werhan. After 2 years, the Nipoa Chamber Fair is planning to return. The Nipoa and District Chamber of Commerce notified the Banner and Press of this announcement recently via email. Of the announcement, Carrie McPherson, president of the Nipoa and District Chamber of Commerce, noted that the fair was cancelled in 2020 and 2021 due to COVID-19 concerns. As a result, McPherson said she's extremely happy to be moving forward with the 2022 event. I hope this year we can come back in full force. We have an incredible committee of community representatives working on planning as we speak. We are cautiously optimistic and are planning some of our key events first and foremost, including the Midway and the fan favorite Barn Social. It goes on to say that this year's event will be the 7th held in its history, being held on May 27th, 28th, and 29th. As in past years, the Saturn Shows Midway, the fair's key attraction, will be open on the Friday evening and on Saturday and Sunday. For the social night, McPherson revealed that they've already booked the Clubbing Fraggles to provide entertainment. We're also working on getting food and drink vendors scheduled and are hoping a few of our old favorites will return, as well as some new treats, McPherson enthused. While still in the planning stages, it's always a busy weekend of fun, family, and community. Other events we have on the radar are the town-wide garage sale, pancake breakfast, karaoke, and other children's events. She added, we are always looking for creative events that bring people in our community together and welcome more committee planning members and or suggestions from our community on events that you would like to see. As for COVID-19 restrictions and considerations, the committee is keeping a close eye on the ongoing conditions and for restriction changes. We will continue to be guided by Manitoba Health guidelines to ensure the safety and security of our community, chamber members, and guests, McPherson assured. In her final comments, McPherson thanked everyone for their support of the Chamber Fair over the years, stating the Nipoa and District Chamber Fair is our largest fundraiser and we are extremely grateful for the support of our businesses and community. Once again, there is an opportunity for chamber members and businesses to sponsor the fair and its key events. As well, the chamber is welcoming volunteers to help over the fair weekend or to join the planning committee. Anyone who would like to get involved are asked to call Jennifer Wiebe, the Chamber's office administrator, through the Chamber office by phoning 204-476-5292. And there's a picture of some of the Midway from in the past. Okay, health care facilities continue to require masks by Kira Patterson. Mask mandates and other public health orders were lifted by the province on Tuesday, May 15th, But that doesn't mean individual organizations and businesses can't ask visitors and customers to mask up. Shared Health announced last week that masks will still be required in all provincial health care facilities, including hospitals, health centers, and long-term care facilities. Exemptions to the mask mandate include children under the age of 5 and individuals who cannot wear masks for medical reasons. Manitoba's healthcare facilities and care settings provide services and care to thousands of patients, residents, and clients daily, many of whom are at increased risk of severe illness if they become infected with COVID-19, Shared Health stated in a press release on March 10th. We are taking this extra preventative step in an effort to provide protection and comfort to the Manitobans who seek and receive care. This decision has been informed by experts in infection prevention and control and will be evaluated on an ongoing basis as we monitor COVID-19 transmission in our communities. Screening of patients, visitors, and staff will also continue in healthcare settings, and masks will be provided to anyone entering a healthcare facility. We thank all patients, visitors, and community members for their cooperation and understanding as we continue to take every possible step to minimize the risk of transmission of COVID-19 within our facilities, the press release read. We encourage all Manitobans to continue to treat healthcare workers, volunteers, and staff with respect and kindness during all interactions. Schools continue to take precautions as health mandates lift, also by Kira Patterson. As the province lifted all public health orders on Tuesday, schools also saw a change in their operations. School divisions have been shifting from mandates to recommendations, though many are continuing to implement certain health and safety measures they've had in place since the pandemic. The 4 school divisions within the banner and press coverage area, including Beautiful Plains, Pine Creek, Turtle River, and Rolling River, have all put similar letters out to their respective students and families. The main message being that they still have a heavy focus on students' safety and will continue to recommend students and staff follow the fundamentals to keep one another healthy. The schools will all still recommend the use of masks, but ultimately it is up to the students and families whether they will. Rolling River School Division highly recommends the use of masks in indoor spaces, especially when distancing is not possible, such as on buses, in hallways, and in crowded spaces, stated Rolling River School Division Superintendent Jason Klein in his letter to families. The superintendents all stressed as well the importance of respecting others' choices, whether they decide to wear a mask or not. We must continue to show compassion, tolerance, understanding, and respect for everyone's personal choices and personal risk assessments with respect to wearing masks and adjusted public health recommendations, said Beautiful Plains School Division Superintendent Jason Young in a letter to the division's families. He said staff will continue to support all students and families with whatever decisions they make. Many schools will also still be offering medical masks to staff and students who would like to continue using them. There will also be rapid tests available at schools. While public health does not require individuals to isolate after testing positive, schools are still requesting students and staff to stay home when sick. Keith Murray, Superintendent for Pine Creek School Division, echoed the other division's statements, noting that health and safety practices will continue to be recommended by the division, including frequent hand washing and sanitation, as well as encouraging anyone eligible to be vaccinated against COVID-19. While many divisions are continuing to implement some measures such as enhanced cleaning, Turtle River School Division has gone one step further in their precautions. We have decided out of precaution that until at least the end of this school year, we will be doing our best in all of our schools to maintain the 6 feet, 2 meters distance in student seating, Superintendent Bev Semesco wrote in a letter to families. She noted that they are fully aware that health orders could return anytime, so this choice also makes it easier for them to transition back to mandates should the need arise. Rolling River School Division Superintendent Klein added, "I would like to thank all our students, families, and staff for their kindness, compassion for others, and patience in recent months as we have navigated one of the most challenging winters in history." Okay, Canada Reads event coming back to Nipoa by Kira Patterson. The Margaret Lawrence Home Committee is gearing up for their first event of the year. Their annual Canada Reads evening is coming back after a 2-year hiatus caused by the pandemic. This year, they will be holding an event at Arts Forward on Wednesday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Canada Reads was one of the very first things that did not happen as a result of COVID-19. So it's almost symbolic for me coming back and doing it now that we're kind of seeing light at the end of the tunnel, expressed Margaret Lawrence Home Board member Rain Pryor. She noted that aside from the book sale they held outside last summer, this will be the first literary event they've been able to do in the last 2 years. Canada Reads is an annual week-long television event put on by the CBC, where 5 Canadian celebrities each choose a book of a Canadian author and defend their choice in a series of debates until one book is declared the winner. Margaret Lawrence Home's event takes place the week before CBC's debates, with 5 local volunteers reading excerpts from each book to give interested readers a sneak peek at the books chosen and a chance to discuss them all before any are eliminated on CBC's program. At Margaret Lawrence event, Pryor explained, a person basically reads from the book that they have selected of the 5 books, and it's not so much a defense of it as it is in the CBC debates. You aren't trying to knock one of these books out. We're just trying to engage some conversation around each of them. The evening will also feature wine and cheese refreshments, which was part of the reason Margaret Lawrence Home decided to partner with Arts Forward on the event. There's a liquor license at the building, so we're able to sort of work with them on that one rather than getting our own permit for a building that doesn't ordinarily host that kind of thing. And Arts Forward has the full kitchen and everything for us to use, Pryor shared. She added that they also wanted to hold the event at Arts Forward because when they started planning Canada Reads, they didn't know what the public health restrictions would be. So they wanted to have a larger capacity than the Margaret Lawrence Home can provide. The books for this year's Canada Reads were announced by CBC earlier in the year, and the Margaret Lawrence Home Board has already gotten their readers for their event. This year, the chosen books and the local readers are 5 Little Indians by Michelle Good, read by Catherine Kingdon; Scarborough by Catherine Hernandez, read by Peter Reed; What Strange Paradise by Omar Al-Akkad, read by Melanie Burnett; Life in the City of Dirty Water by Clayton Thomas Muller, read by Allison Bailey; and Washington Black by E.C. Edgigan, read by Glenda McPhee. Admission will be taken at the door, and each of the books will be available for sale at the event. These are what the books are about. 5 Little Indians tells the story of 5 children who were sent to a residential school only to be released in Vancouver as young adults with no resources to help them establish lives there. The book follows the 5 friends as they deal with the trauma from their past and cross paths with one another over the years. Scarborough is about a neighborhood fraught with poverty and crime. It follows the stories of 3 children and 3 adults as they navigate life's challenges in this difficult neighborhood. What Strange Paradise is the story of a 9-year-old child who is the lone survivor on a ship full of refugees. He arrives at a small island and meets a teenage girl who doesn't speak his language but feels the need to protect him. Life in the City of Dirty Water is Cree activist Clayton Thomas Muller's memoir. He shares the story of his life from his painful childhood to his troubled youth to his journey to becoming an activist for several social issues. And Washington Black is a book about a young boy born into slavery on a sugar plantation in Barbados. He forms a bond with his master, who is obsessed with developing a flying machine. After a tragic event, his master is forced to make a decision that sends the pair on a global adventure. Out of Helen's Kitchen, Helen Drysdale's article is called this week The Purity Flour Cookbook. Oh, I remember that. The first milling in Manitoba was done by the Aboriginals with their method of crushing of the grain with a stone, working back and forth against the hollow interior of another stone. With the arrival of the Selkirk settlers, mills were set up using the granite rocks found on the east side of Lake Winnipeg. Many of the early flour mills constructed in rural Manitoba were termed grist mills because millstones were employed instead of the more expensive roller process. The millstones produced an unrefined flour, or grist. The Drysdales tell the story of great-granddad in the 1880s walking from his homestead 18 miles to Palestine, which is now known as Gladstone, carrying a bag of wheat on his back, having it milled, and walking home with the flour. Most towns had a small mill that was powered by wind, water, or steam power. Nipoa had several over the years, one being called Beautiful Plains Milling Company. In 1905, during Canada's wheat boom, a mammoth milling facility in St. Boniface, Winnipeg, was built by Western Canada Flour Mills, along with a line of grain elevators. The 6-story brick structure sat next to a 3-story brick warehouse where the processed grain was packed and stored prior to shipment. Initially designed to produce 4,000 barrels of flour per day, by 1919 the mill produced 5,000 barrels daily and could store 730,000 bushels of grain. Its 3 shifts of 170 workers, many of them of Polish or Ukrainian descent, kept the mill operating 24 hours a day. Western Canada Flour Mills later changed their name to Purity Flour. Purity Flour was named after the pure white flour that they produced. The rolling process method, along with new methods of cleaning, removing the bran, and sifting the flour, revolutionized the milling industry. This process made a pure white flour that was desired by the housewives. The farmer's wife was pleased with the uniform quality, and the pure white store-bought flour resulted in beautiful baking. The farmer, wanting to please his wife and finding the store flour cheaper than milling his own, found it easier to purchase the store flour. Soon, small mills became a thing of the past. In 1961, Maple Leaf Mills was created through the amalgamation of Maple Leaf Milling Company, Toronto Elevators, and Purity Flour Mills Limited. The St. Boniface Flour Mill was closed in 1981. In 1917, Purity Flour produced a cookbook called the Purity Flour Cookbook. They went on to revise and reprint their cookbook to meet the changing times and needs of the cook. I received a Purity cookbook in 1973 for a shower gift. It was my go-to cookbook. It covered all things with foolproof recipes sure to tantalize your taste buds. It was great to teach the basics for the beginner, yet keep the more advanced cooks interested. These are 2 recipes from that Purity cookbook I used then to feed my new husband who had a sweet tooth. These 2 recipes were very popular in the 70s. One is called a glazed lemon loaf, and the other a jelly roll, which can be found online if you want to print that. Next, we have the Spruce Plains RCMP report submitted by the Spruce Plains RCMP. During the week of March 7th to 13th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 23 police activities. On March 7th, RCMP attended a residential alarm in Plumas. After investigation, nothing suspicious was observed, and the alarm was determined to be false. Police conducted a COVID compliance check at a residence in Kelwood. All persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. March 8th, RCMP responded to multiple vehicle collisions and stranded motorists due to hazardous road conditions. There were no injuries, and numerous vehicles were towed and moved to the side of the road until conditions improved. Police received an abandoned 911 call in Nipoa. After investigation, it was determined to have been dialed accidentally. On March 9th, RCMP received a report of threats being uttered in Minnedosa. The complainant was reporting for informational purposes only. No charges were laid. Police conducted a well-being check at a residence in Gladstone where there was no cause for concern found. On March the 10th, RCMP conducted various proactive traffic enforcement engagement with several motorists. On March 11th, RCMP received a report of a truck theft in Nipoa. Upon investigation, it was determined no theft occurred, and it was deemed a civil matter. Police responded to an abandoned vehicle in Nipoa. Checks on the vehicle were done, and it was found insured and registered, so nothing suspicious was noted. On March 12th, RCMP conducted various proactive traffic enforcement engaging with several motorists. On March 13th, RCMP received a report of an unwanted person at a residence in the RM of North Cypress Langford who was not supposed to be there as per a court order. The matter is still under investigation. And now for the Carberry North Cypress Langford page by Gladwin Scott. First, the community profile this week is on Cooper Couples. Cooper, 17 years old, is a member of the 2022 Carberry Collegiate graduating class who is qualified for the Team Manitoba Youth Bowling team. There are 3 girls and 3 guys who will compete on the National Championships in Calgary, March 24th to 26th. This will be his second bowling nationals as he bowled in Gatineau, Quebec in 2019. It was a great, amazing team bonding experience, Cooper said. This year, Team Manitoba also includes 1 bowler from Minnedosa, and the other 4 are from Winnipeg. Couples bowls in 2 Carberry leagues, Tuesdays with the Adult League and Wednesdays with the Youth League. He plans to graduate with honors and has been apprenticing with Mid-Plains for the past 9 months, which he really enjoys. Future plans include working towards a heavy-duty mechanic level 1 at ACC and levels 2 to 4 at Red River College. Each level includes 8 weeks of classes and a period of work experience. People who have had a positive influence on his development include Don Dixon, Larry Elmhurst, and Brent Boyle, who happens to be from Nipoa. And for the curling coroner, Derek Semigalski, who is the superintendent of the Sand Hills Golf Course in the summer, played second on Mike McEwen's Team Manitoba in the Tim Hortons Brier, the National Men's Curling Championship in Lethbridge, March 4th to 13th. This was his 5th time as a provincial winner. In 2012, he won with Rob Fowler's rink. In 2015 and 2018 with Reed Crowther's squad, and in 2019 with Mike McEwen. One of their Brier highlights was an 8-6 victory over Brad Jacobs of Northern Ontario. The top 3 rinks in each pool advanced to the playoffs. Pool A rinks were Brendan Botcher, Colton Flash, and Kevin Cooey, while Pool B finishers were Brad Gushu, Jason Gunnison, and Brad Jacobs. Mike McEwen's Team Manitoba rink was heading for the playoffs, but were derailed by a couple of uncharacteristic games, losing 9-6 to Quebec, who were 4-4, and 9-3 to Jason Gunnison of Morris in a tiebreaker. Brad Gushue, who won the Tim Hortons Brier in 2017, 2018, and 2020, had the misfortune to lose his third, Mark Nichols, to COVID-19 for the playoffs, so they had to continue with only 3 players. They lost 4-3 to Brendan Botcher in a last rock game, but rebounded for a 9-7 win over Colton Flash in another last rock match. Gushue then met Botcher again in the semi-final and won 9-3, sending him to the final against Kevin Cooey. In an exciting extra end finish, Gushue defeated Cooey 9-8 and advances to the World Men's Curling Championship in Las Vegas, April 2nd to the 10th. Westman High School Hockey League news. The final standings in the 8-team Westman High School Hockey League Championship Division are Killarney-Wawanesa Raiders with 64 points, Major Pratt Trojans with 58, Vincent Massey Vikings 54, GCB Wildcats 52, Sandy Bay Badgers 48, Nipoa Tigers 45, Dauphin Clippers 44, and Boissevain Souris Broncos with 41. Topping the consolation division is McCurry St. Rose Mountaineers with 39, Swan Valley Tigers with 36, REMP Renegades with 31, HRES Huskies with 31, BSR Falcons with 26, Minnedosa Erickson Chancellors with 21, Verdun Golden Bears with 20, and the Crocus Plainsmen with 18. The first playoff round is a best-of-3 series in which the Wildcats meet Sandy Bay. Game 1 was in Glenborough March 14th and saw the Wildcats win 4-2. Game 2 was in Sandy Bay March 15th and the Wildcats won 6-4. As a result, a third game was not needed. The WHSHL keeps excellent statistics. The KW Raiders were the least penalized team after 34 games, with 238 minutes, while the GCB Wildcats were second with 317 minutes. The most penalized team was Bertle Show Lake Rossburn Falcons with 631 penalty minutes. In the Provincial AA Championships in Russell, the Wildcats lost a pair of round-robin contests, 3-2 to Pembina Valley Tigers, which is Pilot Mound, Manitou, Treeherne, and Cartwright, and 4-2 to Killarney-Wawanesa Raiders. The Tigers got goals from Wyatt Livingstone, Max Yago, and Cole Patino as they scored the lone third-period marker. Jaron Waldner and Deegan Campbell replied for the Wildcats, who were tied 2-2 after 40 minutes. The Killarney-Wawanesa Raiders, who won the Provincial AA title with an overtime victory over the Carmen St. Claude Elm Creek Cougars, received 2 goals from Connor Martin in the final 6 minutes to defeat the GCB squad. Carter Elliott and Landon Gunnison replied for the Wildcats. In the consolation finals, the GCB Wildcats edged the McCreary Glenella St. Rose Alonza Mountaineers 6-5. Jason Waldner and Johnny Myers had 3 points each. Trey Dixon scored once and added 4 helpers. Other marksmen were Peyton Elliott and Tyler Hood. Mountaineers goal-getters were Drake Paul, Ryan Benson, Shane Shure-Fraze, Jeff Gilmore, and Brody Fayette. And the Here and There section by Gladwin Scott. Several Carberry bowlers have qualified for the interprovincial finals in Kelowna/Verdun, April 21st to 24th. Lisa Dobbin-Waters, Matt Tolton, and coach Victor Lavich. In Tiger Hills Hockey League playoffs, a couple of upsets took place. The Minnedosa Bombers edged the Cartwright Clippers 3-2 twice on the weekend to advance to the East Division Finals against Gladstone. Verdun upset Killarney 5-4 twice to advance the West Division Finals against the Boissevain Border Kings. In the Provincial A/AA Junior Varsity Basketball Championships in Bertle, Carberry downed the Treeherne Tigers 52-40, but were defeated 77-36 by Gabrielle Roy, the number 1 seed. The St. Laurent Hawks, who played well in Carberry's tournament, defeated the Cougars 82-43 in consolation finals. Gabrielle Waugh, which is in Ile-des-Chênes, won the championship final over Verdun 92-73. Excerpts from the joint council meeting. Carberry and the North Cyprus Langford councils met in the drop-in centre February 28th with Reeve Adrianson in the chair. So as follows. A delegation of Alan Christensen from the Ag Society, Gloria Mott and Brad Wells from the Museum Board attended to discuss moving the Roundhouse, a heritage building from the fairgrounds, to a space between the museum and the gingerbread house, but back from the street. It was decided that with $10,000 from each council, the CACF Foundation and the Heritage Branch, the move may be possible. Both councils agreed to contribute $100,000 to the rec board for the campground development. It was decided that the recreation board may be renamed Carberry and Area Parks and Recreation Board for the campground development. A fundraising committee has been established for a splash park and a zip line in the campground. Ryan Curtis was hired as the transfer station attendant. It was decided to purchase and fly the flag of Ukraine in the honor of the people with the area people with Ukrainian heritage. The Spring Municipal Officials Convention will be April 19th to the 21st. A March 10th meeting was set to discuss Carberry Child Co-op issues, and finally May 24th was set for a joint council's monthly meeting. All right, big plans in play for return of Neepawa Sports Dinner by Owen Devereaux. Organizers are feeling optimistic about the return of the Neepawa Sports Dinner and Auction. After a 2-year hiatus due to the restrictions associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, the event is making a grand return to the Yellowhead Hall on Friday, April 8th. The Neepawa Titans are coordinating the festivities, and board member Jamie Dembo said that while the preparations are keeping everyone involved very busy, it's still something they're thrilled to be able to do. It feels unbelievably fantastic to be planning something like this once again, but getting to this point has not been easy. We'd also been planning for a full virtual event had the restrictions remained in place, or if there were a change back again in the restrictions. But with the timing on the loosening of the restrictions by the province, we felt that it's really important to our community to be able to get back together face to face. Historically, this event has been all about celebrating sport for the town of Nipoa, and we haven't been able to celebrate anything to do with sport for about 2 years. So to be able to get back and do this live, it just means so much to the planning committee. We're just thrilled with where we're at right now. This year's edition of the Sports Dinner will feature dual headliners: Olympic gold medalist Kristen Campbell and 2-time Grey Cup champion Shane Gauthier. Campbell was the starting goaltender for Team Canada at the 2022 Winter Olympics, while Gauthier is a middle linebacker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Dembo said that Campbell and Gauthier will be bringing some special hardware with them to the event. The gold medal from the games will be here. As well, the Grey Cup itself will be here in Nipoa, which is very exciting, stated Dembo. We're pretty pumped to be able to say that an Olympic gold medal and the Grey Cup will be in Nipoa at the same time, especially on a night that's designed to celebrate sport. Can't get much better than that. Along with Campbell and Gauthier, comedian Big Daddy Taz will also be part of the featured entertainment. The sports dinner is also an opportunity to recognize the local contributors to Nipoa's sports and recreational community through the annual Sportsperson of the Year award. The award was not given out in 2020 or 2021 due to the cancellation of the event. Winners of this honor over the past decade have included the following: 2019, Scott and Candace Newton for baseball; 2018, Darren Rowe for basketball; 2017, Amanda Labatelier for gymnastics; 2016, Rodney White for hockey. 2015, Derek Pearson for boxing. 2014, Dave Clark for hockey. 2013, Keith Jordan for hockey. 2012, Mary Ellen Clark for hockey. As for the 2022 edition of the Sports Dinner, 300 tickets will be made available. High Life will be sponsoring the meal and also have its professional chef, JP Charpentier, who is also taking care of all the arrangements for the food. Anyone interested in purchasing a ticket can pick one up at the Banner and Press building or by contacting a representative with the Nipoa Titans hockey team. All right, Highland dancers wrap up season with final games. We have a couple of pictures here by Crystal Scott. Medal tests were held on Friday, March 11th, 2022 at Expressive Dance with Crystal Studio in Minnedosa. Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance examiner Galen McGregor joined us virtually from Winnipeg. 13 of Crystal's Highland dancers completed a total of 38 exams. Some exams include 4 dancers, as well as demonstrating technique. Many dancers completed 2 to 5 exams each. There were Highland exams, Scottish Nationals, Irish jig, sailor's hornpipe, and a choreography. The marking system is as follows. Dance stars up to preliminary receive a pass. Pre-bronze up to award 6 receive pass, pass plus, commended, commended plus, and highly commended. Everyone passed their exams and they will receive certificates and medals in the mail. Instructor Crystal Scott is thrilled for the dancers as this completed their 3rd and final exam session for this dance season. It feels great to get caught up after all the delays and disappointments due to COVID-19. The next goal is combining the upcoming fall of 2022 exam requirements into fun choreographies to be performed at their final dance shows on May 6th and 7th at the Strathclair Theatre. Voting for the CAA Manitoba Worst Roads campaign now open. Submitted by CAA Manitoba. After a winter of straddling icy ruts, Manitobans will soon be playing dodge the potholes this spring. Worried about your safety as a cyclist or a pedestrian? Think a roadway is poorly designed? Voting is now open for the annual CAA Worst Roads campaign, and CAA Manitoba is giving everyone the opportunity to voice their concerns about the bad roads in their community. We are very proud to say that this annual advocacy campaign has influenced change for 10 years, said Heather Mack, Manager of Government and Community Relations at CAA Manitoba. As we kick off another year of the campaign, we are calling on all Manitobans to vote for their worst roads today and join the community of drivers, cyclists, transit riders, and pedestrians committed to improving our roads. The campaign informs all levels of government which roadway improvements are top of mind for Manitobans and where improvements could be prioritized. Manitobans can vote on issues ranging from congestion, potholes, poor road signs, and the timing of traffic lights to pedestrian and cycling safety. In 2021, 4 of the top 5 worst roads were outside of Winnipeg, including provincial roads 307, 250, 450, and Trunk Highway 34. The key to economic recovery is the investment in roads and supporting infrastructure, because when we invest in our roads, we also create jobs, said Mack. Throughout the pandemic, our roads have been the arteries used every day to keep essential workers, goods, and services flowing. Now more than ever, funding for roadway improvements and proper infrastructure needs to be consistent to ensure that quality and safety is maintained for everyone. Potholes and poor road conditions are often the most common issues noted by road users and can cost motorists thousands of dollars in repairs when damage to vehicles is caused. The average cost of repairing pothole damage to a vehicle is more than $300, with some fixes topping $6,000, depending on the make and model of the car. According to the 2019 Canadian Infrastructure Report Card spending, $1 on pavement preservation may eliminate or delay spending $6 to $10 on costly repairs later. As the inventory of vehicles continues to remain scarce due to global semiconductor chip shortage, more people are now trying to hold on to their cars for longer. Not only can poor roads cause damage to vehicles, but they also heavily contribute to the wear and tear of tires and increased fuel consumption, which is why the maintenance and quality of our roadways is even more important than ever. Success stories over the last 10 years are a result of governments prioritizing infrastructure through multi-year capital investments, and some examples include the following. Empress Street in Winnipeg. Empress Street was long in the top 10 for worst roads in Winnipeg, last appearing in 2019. In 2021, the City of Winnipeg's improvements for Empress Avenue were completed, including new pedestrian ramps on Portage Avenue and Empress, and a new directional bike path stemming from the Assiniboine River. St. James Councillor Scott Gillingham said he wanted to see this project completed since he was first elected in 2014, saying, "The residents told me many times that roads were the #1 issue, specifically around the Polo Park area, so I'm glad to see this project completed." St. James Street in Winnipeg. St. James Street was often referred to as driving on the moon, thanks to numerous potholes and poor patching jobs that rarely survived a season. Add general congestion due to its proximity to Polo Park, and St. James Street also appeared several times on our list, last appearing as number 6 in 2019. Since 2017, major rehabilitation of St. James Street has been underway, including complete removal of some sections and intersections to be fully replaced. The work is expected to continue for 2022. Nominations for CAA's Worst Roads can be cast at caaworstroads.com until April the 6th. To encourage participants to act on their concerns, they will be entered to win a grand prize of a $500 Best Western gift card and $200 Ultimate Dining card, secondary prize of a $500 Olympia Ski and Cycle gift card, along with weekly draws for $50 Ultimate Dining cards. Once voting is closed, CAA will compile a list of the 10 worst roads in Manitoba, along with the worst roads in regions across the province. The regional top 5 lists will help shine further light on the state of local roads in municipalities across Manitoba. CAA will present the list of 2022 worst roads to local and provincial officials to help inform future funding and planning decisions. The top 10 CAA worst roads in Manitoba in 2021 were the following. Number 1, Taylor Avenue in Winnipeg. Number 2, Provincial Road 307. Number 3, Provincial Road 250. Number 4, Provincial Road 450. Number 5, Trunk Highway 34. Number 6, Saskatchewan Avenue, Winnipeg. Number 7, St. James Street, Winnipeg. Number 8, Sherwin Road, Winnipeg. Number 9, Waller Avenue, Winnipeg. And finally, number 10, Empress Street, Winnipeg. Okay, jewelry repair for palliative care. Here we have a picture of Lynn Ranger, owner and operator of Bead or Knot, spelt K-N-O-T, Bead or Knot jewelry business, and Two Barns Antiques. She donated $151 to Nipoa Palliative Care last week. The money was raised through Ranger's jewelry repair service, which she offers for free, with a donation to her jewelry repair for palliative care collection. Because I have the shop, the tools, and supplies, it is something I can do to give back to a worthy cause. Ranger noted that since the Bead or Not shop has been closed during the pandemic, she hasn't had many donations lately, but she's hoping it will pick up once again now that she's hoping it will pick up again once she can reopen to the public. And she is seen here presenting the donation to Mary Ellen Clark, coordinator for Nipoa Palliative Care. Now, with the sports section, we have Darren Rowe retiring from the NACI basketball program by Owen Deverell. Although the result of the scoreboard might indicate otherwise, Darren Rowe still considers his final game at the Nipoa Area Collegiate Institute, NACI, gymnasium, going out on a high note. Rowe, a familiar figure at the end of the bench for NACI varsity girls basketball team for over 32 years, recently announced that he is stepping down as coach at the end of this season. His last home game was on Tuesday, March 15th, a 47-43 loss to the Alton Sabres in the Zone 7 Championship. While the Tigers still have more games to play, as they have qualified for the Manitoba AAA Provincial Championships in Brandon, this was Rowe's final game at home. For the man known as Bear to many within Nipoa's basketball circles, it was a tough decision to step away, but felt like the right one at this time. My youngest daughter, Brooklyn, is graduating. I coached a lot of years before being able to coach my own kids, and I don't know, it just seemed right with my last one going through the system. I wanted to coach my own girls, and I have had that opportunity. The winning seasons and the banners, it's all nice and something for everyone involved to be proud of. But being able to coach my daughters, it just felt right to move on right now and get some younger blood in there, coaching the players and continuing to move the program forward. There are a few great basketball minds in this town, so I feel the team will be in good hands, said Rowe. Rowe got involved with the game of basketball back in 1990 as a player and then eventually shifted into the coaching aspect of it. He noted that while his first love was for hockey, basketball proved to be his passion. Mike Whalen, I've got to give him credit. All those years ago, he got a bunch of kids together for grades 7 and 8 basketball, and that's where I got my first real introduction to it. And I loved the game. I was a hockey player, of course, but found that I really enjoyed basketball. Eventually, I gave up on hockey and played basketball. I just found something in the game that just clicked, and I really enjoyed it. When I graduated high school, I went to university for a year and came back and coached with Murray Black. He was there for a year, then I stepped into the head coaching job and have done it ever since. Rowe's coaching experience began with the varsity boys squad, but then he added the varsity girls team to his coaching portfolio. After a few years of double duty, Rowe stepped away from the boys team to focus on establishing a top-level program for girls basketball in Nipoa. As the seasons passed, that's exactly what he did, turning NACI into one of the best teams consistently within the AA tier of Manitoba high school athletics, winning the Zone 7 and provincial championships on multiple occasions. Rowe said those achievements are due to the dedication of many great players and coaches over the years. I've been fortunate to coach alongside several very good coaches, Carrie Hayhurst, Jody Jury, Gord Hay. I know I'm forgetting a bunch. This year I'm coaching with Jana Scott out of the Boys of Ain program and Caitlin Fickert. They're all a major part of the success, and this program is bigger than just one person, Rowe stressed. After several years of dominance on the AA level, which included several Coach of the Year accolades for Rowe and co-coaches Hayhurst and Jury, NACI was moved up into the AAA tier. Now, after about 5 years competing in the higher skill level of high school athletics, 2022 appears to be the team's breakout year. For the first time, the NACI Tigers have reached the AAA basketball provincials. Rowe said the players should be very proud of reaching this achievement. I'm very excited about provincials, but mainly for the players. It's always a great experience to go to provincials, and they've earned this. I always wanted to run a high-level program, and I think we've been pretty fortunate. These people, the coaches, the players, are committed. They love the sport, and they are knowledgeable. I have no doubt the program is going to be fine. I'm going to miss this program, but it is in good hands. These girls, there's a bunch of them coming back next season. I'm still going to be supportive of them. I bleed Tiger black and gold forever. And here's a picture of the coaches, Jana Scott and Darren Rowe, and the members of the 2022 NACI Varsity Girls Basketball team. And down here, Darren Rowe was honored before the game with a special commemoration from NACI Principal Kelvin Hellier, the NACI mascot, and Darren Rowe's youngest daughter, Brooklyn. Congratulations, Darren. Now, still with sports, there was plenty to unpack this off-season for the Nipoa Titans. By Owen Devereaux. It was not the ending to the MJHL regular season that the Nipoa Titans had been hoping for. The Titans suffered a pair of losses over the weekend to the Whale-Sakapo Wolverines, which officially eliminated Nipoa, who were 19-26, 4-5 with 47 points from playoff contention. Nipoa went 1-8-1 overall in their last 10 regular season games and finished 2 points back of Swan Valley Stampeders, who claimed the fourth and final spot in the postseason. Whale-Sakapo, meanwhile, finished in second place in the Western Division with a 33-18 2-1 record. The first loss to the Wolverines was a 6-4 defeat at the Yellowhead Center on Friday, March 11th. The following night, the Titans were bested 9-1 at the Whale-Sakapo Arena Complex. Nipoa Titans head coach and general manager Ken Pearson spoke with the Banner Press after concluding his exit interviews with the players on Monday, March 14th. Pearson said the end results are a disappointment, but there were a few positives they can take away from this season. We've seen a lot of growth on our team on and off the ice. Some of the players that missed a full season of hockey last year, it took them a while to get going this season. But overall, we had a lot of our 18 and 19-year-old players finish strong for us. Obviously, finishing out of the playoffs is a disappointment. Looking at the standings, we ended up 2 points out. And when you look at our shootout and overtime column, 4 wins in extra time versus 9 losses, that was our undoing. Even if we had half those points, we're getting ready to play in the first round of the playoffs. There were games that just slipped through the fingers. When I talked to the guys at the exit meetings one-on-one, almost to a man, they named the exact same games we let slip through our fingers, and we should have earned the 2 points. We have to learn from that for next year. Pearson added that the overtime and shootout results will serve as a valuable lesson for the returning players to treat every game as a big game. For coaches at any level of play, the end of the season simply means the beginning of planning for next season. Pearson said there will not be much downtime, as the Titans' spring prospects camp is just around the corner. After that will be preparations for the MJHL's Bantam draft. As for what the roster could look like next year, there were 7 players who concluded their time at the Junior A level. Those players who aged out were Austin Klein, Kieran Thiessen, Dallin Wilton, Tristan Thompson, Jaeger Lapointe, Rylan Gunnison, and Emmerich Dimmers. Pearson thanked all of them for their commitment to the organization this season. Well, still talking about hockey, we'll talk about the Tiger Hills Hockey League by Owen Devereaux. The East Division final between the Gladstone Lakers and the Minnesota Bombers has quickly proven to be the type of series that diehard fans of the Tiger Hills Hockey League can definitely get behind. With 2 games played in this best of 5, the Bombers and Lakers were tied at 1 apiece, with Gladstone earning its victory at home on Friday, March 11th by the score of 4-1. Sean Kubas picked up the lone goal in the first, giving the Lakers the early advantage. Minnesota replied, however, in the second with the Kane Burgess marker off of a power play opportunity. Then in the third, the Lakers were finally able to secure the win with a pair of goals from Scott Glennie. The former standout for Brandon Weeking scored just 20 seconds into the period, then again with just over 6 minutes remaining. Jory Geddes and Hamilton Steen assisted on both of those goals. Jory Geddes also added an empty net goal late to make it a 4-1 final. In Game 2, the Bombers quickly bounced back with a win of their own the very next night in Minnesota. The first period saw Gladstone opening up the scoring off a Derek Walker shot, just 3:07 into the game. Just past the midway point of the period, Ryan Haino put one away for the home side to make it 1-1 after the first 20 minutes. The second period included several goals and several near goals, with both teams either rattling shots off the post or just barely wide of the net. As for the chances that counted, Rick Kowalik put one away for the Bombers, while Carl Beaulieu and Jory Geddes replied for the Lakers. For the final period, Minnesota's Wes Lewis and Shane Jury each scored, giving the Bombers the lead. Gladstone pushed hard to find the equalizer in the final 8 minutes of play, but could not find a way to get one past Devin Fordyce. Game 3 of the series was played on Wednesday, March 16th in Gladstone, but was concluded after the Banner and Press publication deadline. The results will appear in the March 25th edition. The other series in the West Division, still on the go, unfortunately, is not as close as Gladstone versus Minnesota. The Boys of Ain Border Kings, who breezed through the regular season with a perfect 18-0-0 record, have pretty much done the same in the playoffs. Boys of Ain currently has a 2-0 lead over the Verdun Oil Kings after 8-3 and 8-2 wins over the weekend. The Border Kings could be hoping on the championship final with a win on Wednesday, March 16th. That result will also appear in the March 25th edition of the Nipoa Banner and Press. And still on hockey, this is an update on the Westman High School Hockey League by Owen Devereaux. The Nipoa Tigers are on the brink of playoff elimination in the Westman High School Hockey League after a pair of losses to the Vincent Massey Vikings. This opening round series started on Sunday, March 13th in Brandon, with the Vikings prevailing 4-3 in overtime. The Tigers battled back late in the game to send it into OT, as Jory Kobaki scored a pair of goals in the last 4 minutes and 32 seconds of the third. Ward Brister scored the other goal for Nipoa back in the first period. Vincent Naci would claim the win, however, with the game winner just 5 minutes into the extra session. The next night, those two teams faced off once again, this time at the Yellowhead Center in Nipoa. For this second game, Vincent Naci took the lead midway through the first period and just never looked back, closing out the night with a 3-1 win. That first period goal was followed up with 2 more in the second, while Ward Brister was the lone reply from NACI with a power play goal with 6 minutes and 36 seconds left in the second period. The Tigers did push hard to climb back into the game, but could not overcome a solid performance by Vikings goaltender Matt Stevens, who stopped 35 shots over the course of the game. Game 3 of the first round series was played on Wednesday, March 16th in Brandon. If the Vikings win that game, they'll advance to the next round of the playoffs. If the Tigers are victorious, however, Game 4 would be played in Nipoa. Game 3 was not concluded until after the Banner and Press publication deadline. That result will appear in the next edition of the newspaper. Okay, Nipoa Ag Expo auction returning for 2022 by Kane Burgess. Prepare your bids. That's right, the Nipoa Ag Expo televised live auction is back for its 2022 edition. This year's auction is set for April the 7th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. shown live on NACTV. This event is a big draw for fundraising in the community, with proceeds benefiting the local Nipoa Titans hockey team and 10% of proceeds also being donated to a group of the organizer's choice. Last year, a total of $22,636 was raised, with the Nipoa Curling Club receiving $2,263.60. This year, the 10% beneficiary will be the Nipoa Golf and Country Club. We were definitely contemplating a lot of areas. We chose the Nipoa Golf and Country Club this year because we knew they were going to be making some upgrades to their clubhouse and making it more accessible for people with wheelchairs and even just older folks who may have walkers, said Matt Lowry, an organizer for the auction. A couple years ago as well, we had that flood, and the Golf and Country Club was one that certainly had a lot of damage. So we had that part of it in the back of our minds as well when we were choosing our partnered group. Lowry noted that item collection for the auction has already begun, and a list compiling all collected items thus far has been made. There are some businesses on board as well that just need to figure out what item they would like to donate, said Lowry. So far, it's been a nice reception of supporting businesses once again. With this being the third occasion the auction will be televised on NACTV, Lowry told the Banner and Press that they've had some time to get the hang of things. We've definitely picked up on a few things each year to make the event run smoother. And there's a lot of the same individuals coming back that have helped us in other years too, which helps as well, said Lowry. Myself and Cam Tibbett, when it comes time to be on TV, will be focused on trying to host a good show, raise some money, and have some fun doing it. While the trade show portion is being foregone again this year due to COVID-19 concerns, the Ag Expo Committee are hoping that conditions will be further improved and rules changed in the future so that the event can be moved back into the Yellowhead Hall to host a trade show day. Those wishing to get more information or to get involved in the 2022 event are asked to contact Matt Lowry by phone at 204-841-2389. We'd love to have anybody that wants to be a part of it to join in and make it another successful event, Lowry enthused. And here we have pictures of graduating Titans thanking their billet families. Graduating members of the Nipoa Titans Junior A hockey team made special presentations to show their appreciation for their families and billet families at the game on March 11th. Best of luck to all the departing players, and thanks to the billet families for their support of the Nipoa Titans Hockey Club. And here we have an article by Owen Devereaux. Coulter Burney signs with Winnipeg Rifles. The defense line for the Winnipeg Rifles will have a strong local presence next season. Rifles coach Jordy Wilson announced on Monday, March 14th, that the football program has signed Coulter Burney of the Nipoa Tigers. Burney played defensive end for NACI last season and is 6'2", 260 pounds. The Winnipeg Rifles Football Club are a member of the Canadian Junior Football League with players aged 17 to 22. The Rifles have been playing in the CJFL since 2002 and have been playing in the League's Prairie Football Conference. Chidi Small, Bernie's coach with the NACI football program, congratulated him on signing with Winnipeg Rifles. He added that Bernie is a versatile player whose skills should be put to good use with the Rifles. Coulter was the heart and soul of our team and always gave it all when he had in games. He is a multi-position player who played defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker, running back, punter, and kicker for our team. His strongest position, in my opinion, would be a rush end, where he has worked to develop an array of pass rush moves to get after the quarterback. In terms of potential, Coulter is just scratching the surface. He is similar to a diamond in the rough. With time, he can develop into a strong player for the Winnipeg Rifles. The Banner and Press attempted to speak with Bernie before its publication deadline, but was unable to contact him. Nonetheless, congratulations to Coulter and best of luck in the Rifles program. Update on Nipoa and District Handy Transit. Lots of changes have been underway for our local handy transit service. The committee would like to welcome to our contractor on board Justin Jacobsen. Justin is taking over the contract from Mary Porter. The committee would like to thank Mary and her staff for their many years of service and dedication to our handy transit. The Nipoa District Disabled Persons Committee recently had a meeting focusing on the Nipoa and District Handy Transit. The community-run handy transit, like so many other organizations and businesses, has taken a financial hit due to COVID-19. Aside from the bleak financials, the service usage has drastically dropped in the last 24 months. The community board wants the community to know that the Nipoa Handy Transit is still available for service. Our safety of the passengers is our number one priority. The hours for operating are still Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed from 12 to 1 for lunch. Evenings and weekends are available by appointment. Please note extra fees for those times will apply and that will be discussed at time of booking. To book a ride, please call 204-476-2828 and the staff will be happy to help you. With rising fuel costs and losses, the committee had to make the hard decision to up our user rates. As of April 1st, 2022, the rate will be increased per one-way trip. Another great option is purchasing books of ride vouchers. These are available by the handy transit drivers or by calling 204-476-2828. These booklets make great gifts and are discounted by pre-purchasing as compared to single ride fares. The committee is hard at work planning fundraisers for this much needed service. Our first fundraiser will be a progressive 50-50 ticket sale that will be running from April the 12th until the draw date at our annual general meeting. The annual general meeting will be held on Wednesday, June 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Nipoa Town Boardroom. Everyone is welcome. The Nipoa District Handy Transit is a community-run service managed by a local board. Board members consist of John Pottinger, Michael Porrick, Ray Drayson, Marika Kostenchuk, Michelle Ferguson, Judy Elgert, Kathy Jasnik, Dorothy Harris, and Marcia Forg. At any time, please feel free to contact any member with any questions or concerns. Well, I have to read this because it's my son. White's Funeral Home would like to congratulate Chris Jacobsen on his recent graduation from the Canadian College of Funeral Services as a licensed funeral director and embalmer. Chris received the Academic Achievement Award at the graduation ceremonies. Chris and his wife Whalen and their 2 young children reside in Nipoa, where they are very active volunteers in the community. Chris is a welcomed addition to our staff. By Brian James and Nathan White of White's Funeral Home. Now, the Banner and Press declares winners of Nipoa Titans sponsored game draw night. The Nipoa banner and press was all set up at the Nipoa Titans game on March 11th. That night was the paper's sponsored game night, at which all who attended were welcome to enter a free draw for a chance to win a Nipoa Titans blanket or hat with a team photo and pack of hockey cards. Here we have Ken Waddell, the owner of the Nipoa banner and press, with Kay Diath, Owen Devereaux, and Casper Werhan. And here we have Kay Diath with prize winners Justin Smith, second place, Sandra Delaloy, first place, as well as Casper Werhan. And here we have Kay Diath and Jace Eros, third place, and Casper Werhan. All right, one last story. Kane's story. 8-year-old Minnedosa boy battles cancer by Shelley Foster. They ride tricycles in hallways, not in the park. They know the names of their chemo instead of their classmates. Nurses and doctors become their new family. Their laughter will make your heart melt. Their strength will make a grown man cry. If you've ever seen a kid fight cancer, it will change your life forever. I would like to introduce you to Kane Burgess, an 8-year-old boy who is in a fight that no child should have to face. Kane has osteosarcoma, bone cancer, or as it is best known, the cancer that Terry Fox had. Kane is the oldest son of Danica Watton and Gwen Burgess, and has a 6-year-old sister, Arwen, and a 4-year-old brother, Pierce. Danica grew up and attended schools in Rivers. They now reside in Minnedosa. Kane's grandparents, Laurie Kiesman and Miles Watton, are longtime residents of Rivers. They have been very active in the community, including the Rivers United Church, the Curling Club, the Hockey Club, the Lions Club, the Riverdale Early Learning Center, among others. Laurie also ran a home daycare for 32 years. The children in her daycare were well acquainted with Kane as he became one of their daycare friends. He also attended Sunday school in the United Church since he was old enough to crawl. It was a doctor in Minnedosa who first discovered the abnormality on Kane's leg, December 31st, 2021. On January 1st, 2022, he had the first of many tests at Children's Hospital in Winnipeg, where they determined that indeed it was osteosarcoma. This was followed by meetings with cancer care and treatment. In total, Kane will undergo at least 18 rounds of chemo in addition to surgery on his leg. They expect Kane to be in treatment for at least a year, rehab, and physio much longer. After 1 week of treatment, Danica wrote, Kane's bravery and strength continues to amaze us, and I just love the questions that come out of this kid. He has endured some very difficult times with the side effects of chemo, but continues to prove to be a brave little warrior. One parent of a pediatric cancer patient wrote, watching your child suffer the horrors of treatment in order to have a chance at life is something no parent should ever have to experience. As the Burgess family struggles to try and balance a normal life for Arwen and Pierce in Minnedosa while having to be in Winnipeg with Kane, many people are offering support and looking for ways to help to ease their burden. A trust account has been set up at the Westoba Credit Union in Rivers to help with costs associated with Kane's treatment for those who wish to donate. Sometimes real heroes live in the hearts of small children fighting big battles. Best of luck to you, Kane. That is it for today's edition of the Nipoa Banner and Press. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next week. So bye for now.